Following the presidential directive to make sure that no one leaves or enters the Nairobi metropolitan region, there are roadblocks that have been placed in different parts of the edges of Nairobi metropolitan to make sure that vehicles and even people who are coming in are checked. Now, we've realized that there are matatus that are actually plying through these routes, especially the Nairobi-Nakuru route, whereby you find that there are people or passengers who take these vehicles. They alight at the borderline now where there is a roadblock and walk through using other routes, and then they go and take other matatus from that region to continue with their journeys, which is actually affecting the efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19. Let's see. So we'll get into one of the matatus and see if actually we can cross over to the other side of the borderline. We chose to take the Nairobi-Nakuru route and see if we could make it through the Nyambare main roadblock at the Kiambu-Nyandarua border. But my journey from Nairobi to Naivasha will require that I take 2 or more public service vehicles and a boda ride at some point. In this matatu, our travelers also headed to Nakuru and Naivasha, but have opted to use this vehicle to an area called Ngararega, walk through a roadblock ahead of them and take another vehicle to their final destination without being noticed. As soon as we got to Ngararega, the matatu slid off the main road to a shopping center nearby, for it not to be seen by any police officer on site. We have just alighted at Ngararega. The matatu that we took could not pass at this area. But now what will happen is that we'll walk from this place to where the roadblock is and walk with some of the passengers and see if we can get through to the other side and take another matatu. So go with me. From this point, we had to walk for about a kilometer to Nyambare main roadblock. But on our way, several boda operators were available for anyone who wished to get to the roadblock faster or even go past it using alternative routes. When I got to the roadblock, I proceeded straight past the basking police officers and a number of police land cruisers. Overhead, a police chopper hovered around the roadblock for minutes, then zoomed away. I expected to be stopped by an officer for my documentation before proceeding, but that did not happen. Their eyes remained glued at motorists lined up on the Nakuru highway. There is an active market around the area, making movement past the roadblock even easier. I walked past all police officers. A number of other passengers we had boarded a matatu with from Nairobi were also here. Some of them got into other vehicles waiting just past the roadblock and went on with their journeys, but others hopped onto bodas, rode through thickets to avoid the first roadblock in Nyambare and another in Kinale. The boda operators will then return back to the main highway and speed through to Sokomjinga Market, where several other public service vehicles will be waiting to take the passengers to Nakuru, Naivasha and other areas along that route. Passengers from Nairobi enter into these vehicles and continue with their journey without any shame or fear of aiding the spread of coronavirus, let alone any iota of patriotic duty. All those roadblocks will simply be checking the few motorists on cargo trucks and other service vehicles, leaving hundreds of travelers walking or riding past them. Clearly, it is not a struggle for anyone who intends to leave or enter the Nairobi metropolitan region. They have all means and avenues that they can use. Other roadblocks, currently, they are strict on the vehicles and motorists who are using this section of the road. But for the pedestrians, they are using bodas and others are walking comfortably through the roadblocks. But the question is, are these roadblocks intending to control the vehicles that are coming in or the people who might be actually the carriers of COVID-19? Dennis Matara, K24 from Sokomjinga in Nyandarua County.